Hey, it's Matt, your average gamer, and for this video, we're going to be jumping into 9 more cool and overpowered builds in Elden Ring. A lot of these are build requests. This is going to be an awesome one. For the first one here, we're going to start with a successive attack build that works with successive attack buffs and no status effects for this one. This is a really cool one. I think I end up getting a no-hit on Godfrey here, which is pretty cool, but overall, this is a really cool build that works really well. So the concept here is to use the Gargoyle Twin Blade in heavy affinity because it hits so quickly. Now for Ash of War, I chose Spinning Weapon, but because I got so focused in the moment fighting Godfrey for this exact moment, I didn't really get a chance to use the Ash of War. There's some bosses that are going to have better windows to use Spinning Weapon. The reason I like that one for building up on successive hits is it only takes one Spinning Weapon and about 2 more hits or so to build up entirely on your successive buff. So it's really good in combination. But for this specifically, since I was kind of just going with the flow of the fight, I ended up going for regular hits, building up on successive hits, of course, and then of course taking advantage of the Gargoyle Twin Blades in heavy affinity, and here we go to phase 2. So phase 2 is a little bit more difficult not to get hit, but I somehow managed to do that here as well. I'm not really a no-hit guy, I don't do that too often, but as far as Godfrey and Hoarlu's moveset, for me personally, they do have a flow to them, which I really enjoy. Love the fact that they have that flow because it makes the fight a little bit easier. There's a very specific pattern in terms of dodging and everything, and it is really fun to learn. That took only 3 tries to get the no-hit on them, not too bad. Their Spinning Weapon, that's going to be great for the majority of the bosses with this exact setup, and then getting in your light attacks with the Gargoyle Twin Blade. Let's jump into equipment and stats. And we have the Gargoyle's Heavy Twin Blade, plus 25 preferably with Spinning Weapon. Any seal for buffs. We're using the Rakshasa set here for some extra damage. Maleficent's Prosthesis. Winged Sword Insignia or Rotten Winged Sword Insignia is better if you have it. Shard of Alexander. We have the Blade of Mercy Talisman. I was going to do some charge attacks, but didn't get enough time for those either. Thorny Tear, Bloodsucking Crack Tear. For our stats, we have 55 Vigor, 20 Mind, 27 Endurance, 66 Strength, 23 Dexterity, 25 Faith. We're using Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, and Flame Grip Me Strength. Another build request here was, it was requested for a Faith Spear build. Mesmer Soldier Spear from the DLC, if you have the DLC, is amazing. Royal Knight's Resolve and Flame Art Affinity. It's got to get a B in Faith Scaling. You could see Gideon there get absolutely wiped. We did a couple buffs, Golden Vow, Blessing's Boon, Halash Shabiri, and we were able to get him, I believe, in 4 hits total on New Game Plus 3 Journey 4. He went down relatively fast. Great scaling. Good fire damage with Flame Art Affinity on Mesmer Soldier Spear. Of course, you get that B in Fate Scaling. Let's jump into equipment, stats, everything you need to know for a powerful spear build that uses Royal Knight's Resolve and can do pierce damage and take down bosses quickly. Let's jump into equipment. We have Mesmer Soldier Spear in Flame Art Affinity, plus 25 Royal Knight's Resolve using the Giant Seal. You can check out the armor set here. It's a random armor set. We have 52 poise. Maleficent's Prosthesis, Two-Handed Sword Talisman. We have the Axe Talisman. We have the Fire Scorpion Charm. And then we have the Flame Tier, Blood-Sucking Correct Tier. Let's jump into stats for this build. And we got 55 Vigor, 20 Mind, 30 Endurance, 34 Strength, 60 Faith. We got a decent amount of Strength because I used these stats from another build, so you can go for more Faith here. Golden Vow, Blessing Spoon, and Halash Shabiri. And next up is a really cool one. I've done builds for, of course, Carian Slicer, as well as all the Carian, pretty much sorceries, as well as the Ashes of War, Carian Sovereignty, and whatnot. So I decided to put them all together for this build and kind of make use of them, having the one in the right hand and the staff in the left hand. This was another highly requested one, so they're all put together here. The second phase of this fight doesn't go as well because his resistances go up, and I had a really difficult time trying to hit his eye or hands. But overall, we did a lot of damage in phase 1 using Carian Sovereignty, and then in phase 2, we're going to go for Carian Slicer, and of course that does a lot of damage for the majority of bosses in the game. Can build up on successive hits with that, but I don't recommend it. I recommend instead building as a full mage and just using a full complement and assortment of different spells. That way you give yourself a lot of variety, and you can immediately have buffs to Carian Slicer without having to worry about the successive attack build-up. It builds up very slowly in terms of successive hits. A lot of people recommend that, but it is a slow way to build that up. You got to get a lot of hits in with it, even more so than regular weapons. So for me personally, I'm just going to build around spells and whatnot. Not the best phase 2 here on the Fire Giant, but we're using Glintstone Ice Crag, couple different things that we threw in here. You probably get more damage with something like Lucett's Staff, but keep in mind that uses a little bit more FP. Wanted to run this, though, with the Carian Slicer buff. I missed his eye there completely. I probably should have hit that. Got a backup here on the fire. But long story short, we do have the buff on the staff. But yeah, there are better staffs that probably give you higher scaling, a little bit more damage. But of course for this, I don't mind running the extra buff that we have, the 15% or so, whatever it is, 10 or 15 that you get for the Carian sorceries and whatnot. Pretty cool here. Works really well, well-rounded build that's going to do a lot of magic damage. We have the Cold Broadsword with Carian Sovereignty. We have the Golden Vow Ash of War for our buff. We have the Carian Glintstone Staff. You can check out our armor set here. We had 64 poise. Magic Scorpion Charm. We have the Shard of Alexander. We have the Godfrey Icon because a lot of spells are chargeable. Graven Mass Talisman, Magic Tier, Bloodsucking Crack Tier. Let's jump into stats for this one. We have 55 Vigor, 23 Mind, 25 Endurance, 13 Strength, 15 Dexterity, 75 Intelligence, Faiths from the starting class, and then I like Carian Slicer, Carian Greatsword, Glintstone Icecrag, and Terra Magica. Next up here, we have a Sword and Board Paladin build. This is another highly requested one. This is going to be a really cool one. So if you notice, you see the Brass Shield a lot in my build. You can pick whatever shield you want, but the Brass Shield's going to be the best medium shield, so there's really no reason to use anything else. It's going to give you the best ability to defend, not take a ridiculous amount of stamina damage. Now, I'm not using the Great Shield Talisman here because I want to go more for damage. We did use the Healing Tree. That's pretty cool. If you stand in it, it can actually completely get rid of the Bloodsucking Crack Tier's health drain, which is awesome. Of course, you can't really be mobile with it. Eventually, we're going to have to move. Now we're going to be working into guard counters, work off that Sacred Affinity, that high damage broadsword that we have with the extra coating on it, getting in guard counters, regular hits, and then of course, since we have high faith, you can throw in whatever spells you want, or incantations rather, that you want to add to this build, because there's a lot of incantations, the holy ones that you can add. Multi-layered Ring of Light, though, from the DLC is probably the best one that's going to fit the build the most. Another reason why I've seen that one a lot is because it does do a lot of damage, and it could even stun bosses when they use a shield like that and slow them down a little bit. You can see it there. And then we end with a awesome guard counter. They did defeat me twice. This is a little bit of a tricky boss to do guard counters on. I'm not the best with the Crucible Knights, but overall, really fun Paladin sword and shield build. We have the Sacred Broadsword plus 25, preferably with Sacred Blade. We have the Brass Shield, Erdtree Seal. That helm will give you plus 2 faith. Good Paladin helm there. Sacred Scorpion Charm, Shard of Alexander, Godfrey Icon. We have the Curved Sword Talisman for guard counters, Holy Tier, Bloodsucking Crack Tier. Let's jump into stats. And for stats on this one, we have 55 Vigor, 22 Mind, 25 Endurance, 16 Strength, 13 Dexterity, 82 Faith. We're using Golden Vow, Blessings of the Erdtree, Hellish Rebury, the Minor Erdtree Healing one, and Multi-Layered Ring of Light. We have the Giant Hunt low buff build next. Somebody wanted a low buff build. I did this with the Sword Lance, but if you don't have the DLC, you can run this with the Nightrider's Glaive. It's awesome with that too. This is going to be a build that really doesn't use much buffs, just the Golden Vow Ash of War, and then whatever tier that you want to use. Does a pretty good amount of damage, a decent amount of bleed build up, and some serious posture damage too. Yeah, a lot of people ask for low buff builds. If you ever want to see another video, complete video on lower buff builds that do a lot of damage, I would love to do that. That would be fun. I know a lot of people don't like buffing, even if it only takes 10 or 15 seconds. For me personally, I always love doing 2 or 3 buffs in the tier because it just makes most of the fights in the game easier. Of course, with this, we're going to get pierce damage too with the Sword Lance, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of different weapons you can run this build on. You're going to want to run it in Blood Affinity or Heavy Affinity. I went for Blood Affinity. Did get a bleed proc. We did proc Lord of Blood's Exaltation for that extra buff. I think it was on like the 4th hit or so, maybe 4th or 5th hit. We got that bleed proc. Overall, though, a lot of poise damage, a lot of physical damage here. We have the Blood Sword Lance plus 25, preferably with Giant Hunt. Only the Golden Vow Ash of War on the dagger. Check out the armor set here. It's nothing crazy, but we have 56 poise. We have Lord of Blood's Exaltation. We have the Shard of Alexander. We have the Two-Handed Sword Talisman. We're doing charged attacks as well. Blade of Mercy for those posture damage hits. We have the Green Burst Crystal tier, Bloodsucking Crack tier. Let's jump into stats. We have 55 Vigor, 19 Mind, 30 Endurance. We have 45 Strength. It's going to be over 60 when you two-hand this. 12 Dexterity, 14 Fates from the starting class, and 45 Arcane. And next up here, we have a Black Flame Nightrider build. Somebody wanted to build for the Nightrider's Glaive. This is a Black Flame build, a complete one using it. Probably did a build similar to this, like, probably about a year ago or so. I know I've definitely covered this probably a year or two by now. I don't do a lot of the complete Black Flame builds anymore. But since this was a request and the Nightrider's Glaive was a request, I decided to do it this way. Especially since I think it gets a B in Fate Scaling as well. So that's pretty cool. Overall, these two bosses are actually heavily resistant to fire. I think at least 40% or more. So this fight was a little bit difficult on New Game Plus 3 Journey 4. It took about 4 tries in total. But ultimately, you will be able to get them using a build like this one because Black Flame has the percentage damage, which is awesome. I want to mention, by the way, the Curse Blade, Beastman Curve Swords, and a couple other ones. I got to farm for those. I'm going to be doing them in the next video for build requests, so if you have any additional build requests, be sure to comment below. I still have a pretty decent list to go through. Got through a lot of them here. I think about 7 of these were build requests and maybe 2 weren't. At least 7 were. It's pretty cool overall that I'm still getting these after all this time. Thing about Elden Ring is it's still an amazing game and I still have fun playing it. I'm not playing it every day. I'm playing it about 2 or 3 nights a week, but still enjoying it in between other games because for me, it's the best game of all time. I don't think there's any game that will ever compare to the feeling I had when I first played Elden Ring and the feeling that I still get playing this game after all this time. Nothing compares to this for me. Night Rain was pretty good, but it had its flaws. For me personally, Elden Ring has almost no flaws and is probably one of the best games ever made. I feel like Dark Souls 3 was amazing. I started at 2, played 3 a ton. 3 was what really sold me on the series back when that came out. It was amazing, had a lot of hours and hundreds of hours in that game. Got thousands of hours into Elden Ring, and I felt like they took a lot of the good things from Dark Souls 3, put it in an open world, and for me, it all worked together perfectly well. I just wanted to say, I love this game. Flame Art Affinity, Nightrider's Glaive with Black Flame Tornado. We have the Godslayer Seal, random armor set on here. Fire Scorpion Charm, Shard of Alexander. We have the Phlox Canvas Talisman and the Godfrey Icon because we're doing incantations too. Flame Tier, Bloodsuck, and Crack Tier. We're using Sleeping Pots there to stun the Godskin duo, of course. For stats, we have 55 Vigor, 23 Mind, 30 Endurance, 18 Strength, 15 Dexterity, 70 Faith, Golden Vow, Blessings of the Earth Tree, Hellish Shiburi, Black Flame, and Scouring Black Flame. And next up here, we have one of the most, I'm just going to call this badass because it is. This is the most badass build on here. This is an amazing one in terms of just getting absolutely absurd hits in. This is going to be with Earthshaker. Love the follow-up swing, by the way. It's amazing. You're going to get the slam down. We're going to do this in Blood Affinity for a little bit of a mix-up. Then massive hits on charged attacks. Wait till you see the end of this fight. This is one of those builds that's going to do a ton of poise damage, a ton of physical damage, a little bit of bleed build up too. It's pretty much got everything you want in a build. Really awesome one here. Check this out. There's the Earthshaker and there's the slam. I think we got a blood proc there too. Awesome build in the end. I love this one. The Earthshaker combo with Bloodfiend's arm from the DLC, Blood Affinity, is fantastic. By the way, if you don't have the DLC and you're thinking about getting in and say you picked up Elden Ring late, the DLC is absolutely worth it. It's amazing. Main thing is, though, it's going to add a ton of weapons and a lot of challenges for you. So if you don't have the DLC still at this time, especially around Christmas time, it'll probably go back on sale around then for sure. So definitely worth picking up if you do not have it. We have Bloodfiend's Arm plus 25 in Blood Affinity with Earthshaker. We have the Golden Vow Ash of War again here. I wasn't sure what buffs I was doing for this one. Yeah, we went with just the Golden Vow Ash of War. Random set of armor, 51 poise. Lord of Blood's Exaltation, Shard of Alexander. Two-handed sword talisman, Blade of Mercy talisman. Spike Crack Tier, Bloodsock Crack Tier. Just want to note, that was actually really good damage for not doing a lot of buffs on this one. 55 Vigor, 19 Mind, 30 Endurance. And then we have the 14 Faith. That's from my starting class, so don't worry about that. And 45 Arcane. So this is a non-build request one that I just threw in here. I did this in Cold Affinity once. Turned out it's really good in Heavy Affinity. I got this idea from the Spear build. So you get 2 hits with Royal Knight's Resolve with Milady. You run this in Heavy Affinity. The charge attacks are absolutely brutal because you can use Royal Knight's Resolve and get 2 hits with it, build up on successive hits, and take advantage of the two-handed sword talisman, axe talisman, and charge tier. It's an amazing combination. Another DLC build, of course, but an awesome one in Milady. We have Heavy Milady plus 25 Royal Knight's Resolve. We have any seal for buffs. We have the Rakshasa set on. And then we're using Millicent's Prosthesis, Wing Sword Insignia, or Rotten Wing Sword Insignia is better if you have it. Two-handed sword talisman. We have the Blade of Mercy talisman for our tiers. We have the Spike Crack Tier, Bloodsuck and Crack Tier. I like using the Wing Sword Insignia because people on Journey 1 can do a lot of these builds by the end game. 55 Vigor, 20 Mind, 27 Endurance, 66 Strength, 23 Dexterity, 25 Faith, Golden Vow, Blessing Spoon, and Flame Grant Me Strength. You can run the Heavy Great Katana with those stats too. That's why I had them that way. We have a Powerstance hybrid build. as the last one. This is going to be a little bit of the Fire Frost build, but this time we're going to be doing this with the Great Stars. Ends up being really good here in Phase 2. Wait till you see Phase 2. I always have a little bit harder of a time with Beast Clergyman for some reason, his moveset. I don't know if it's just me, but when he backs up to do the rock throw, it's one of the hardest moves for me to dodge, especially if you're in midair or jump or something. It's very, very difficult to dodge. He always gives me a little bit more of a hard time than Malekith, who I actually find easier. Once I get to Phase 2, my chances of winning this fight go up a lot. But in Phase 1 for me, for some reason, I just find him more difficult than Malekith. I don't know, if this is just me or everybody feels this way. But yeah, he has a lot of attacks that look like they're not going to hit you. He has that jump back where he throws the rocks, and it happens so quickly sometimes. Just a little bit of difficulty there with Beast Clergyman. Let's jump on to the next part of the fight. We got to dodge that move first. I think I end up getting hit here. Just a little bit of a delayed roll. I hit the button way too late. But after this, we start to get in a decent amount of hits here. I'm going to avoid this attack first and heal. You want to back up when he starts that spin or get behind him. If you cannot get behind him, you want to back up and go in front of him. In this case, I had to go in front of him because I couldn't roll behind him. There's the Frost proc there, so we got that. Let's keep going for poise damage, see how much damage we get here. We're going to hit him again, and we're going to hit him one more time. There's the posture break. The Great Stars are fantastic for that. Didn't have time to charge it because the blood-sucking crack tier was actually taking down my HP. Had I charged that, it would have been even more damage, but he went down with Burno Flame at the end because this is a Faith and Strength build that's going to hit hard. It's a little bit of a hybrid Strength-Faith build that works well with the Great Stars. Gives you Fire, gives you Frost, and gives you any incantations you want to use. We have the Flame Art Great Stars, first one with Flaming Strike, Cold Affinity Great Stars with Chilling Mist, Giant Seal, of course. We have the Great Bird chest piece on, the most important piece of armor, Claw Talisman, Blade of Mercy Talisman, Godfrey Icon. We have the Fire Scorpion Charm. For our tiers, we got the Flame tier, Bloodsucking Crack tier. Let's jump into stats. And for stats on this one, we have 55 Vigor, 20 Mind. We have 30 Endurance, 34 Strength. If you two-hand anything, you'll have over 50. 60 Faith, Golden Vow, Blessings of the Earth Tree, Hellish Abriri, Burno Flame, and Giant's Flame Take Thee. Thanks for watching this one. Thanks for tuning in to my top 9 cool and OP builds, which are mostly build requests this week, and next week they're probably going to be too. I'm really waiting for Night Reigns DLC and then the Tarnished Edition that got delayed until early 2026. So those are the two next major things that I want to cover. When Night Reigns DLC comes out, though, I will be taking a little bit of a break from Elden Ring. So if you have any build requests before that comes out, be sure to comment them below. I want to know what they are so I can make them and turn them into awesome builds. It's been a lot of fun. Don't forget to sub. Catch you in the next video.